There are some women you meet and immediately know they will never break. Naomi Matheson was one of them, until the day she did. My name is Harriet Sinclair. I'm 55 years old and I've spent most of my adult life watching people from the edges of their stories. Maybe it's the quiet ones that stay with you longest. The ones who don't scream when they fall. Naomi Matheson taught high school mathematics in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania for 19 years. Brown hair in the same low ponytail every day. A Honda Civic with a cracked windshield she never fixed. She lived in a narrow brick row house she'd inherited from her mother. People liked Naomi because she was steady. The kind of person who showed up when she said she would. And she had Robert. Robert Matheson was Naomi's younger brother by 3 years. Charming. Good at sales. He'd been married twice and lived in Allentown 20 minutes away. He called Naomi every Thursday evening at 7:30. She loved him the way you love someone when they're all you have left of your childhood. She believed him the way you believe in gravity. It started with a phone call on a Tuesday in late September. Naomi was grading papers when her phone rang. Robert's voice sounded tight. Thin. I'm in trouble, Naomi. He came over. Sat at her kitchen table with his head in his hands. He'd made a bad investment. Borrowed money from people who didn't use banks. Now they wanted it back. How much? Naomi asked. $35,000. She stared at him. He told her about loans, credit cards, people who'd come to his apartment. His eyes were wet when he looked at her. The house, he said. You could take out a home equity loan. I'll pay you back. I swear to God. She didn't say anything for a long time. Please, he said. I'm scared. Naomi went to the bank the following Monday. She sat across from a loan officer named Patricia and said she needed $35,000. Home repairs. Updating the kitchen. The loan was approved in 3 days. She transferred the money to Robert's account on Thursday afternoon. Sat in her car in the bank parking lot afterward and felt hollow. 19 years of mortgage payments. Her mother's house. Robert called that night. Thank you. I'm going to fix this. I promise. She believed him. For 2 weeks, everything seemed fine. Then Naomi saw a charge on her credit card statement. $847 to a luxury hotel in Atlantic City. 3 days ago. She hadn't been to Atlantic City. She called the credit card company. Sat on hold for 12 minutes. Do you have a Robert Matheson authorized on this account? The representative asked. Naomi's stomach dropped. She remembered then. Robert had asked to use her card for a work trip. Just once. She'd forgotten. She removed him from the account. Disputed the charge. Hung up and sat very still in her kitchen. He called Robert. He didn't answer. On the 4th try he picked up. Did you use my credit card? Silence. Did you charge $800 to a hotel in Atlantic City on my credit card? I was going to tell you. I had a work thing and my card wasn't working. You stole from me. I didn't steal. I was going to pay it back. Like you're paying back the $35,000? I'm working on that, he said quietly. She hung up. Her hands were shaking. A week later, a letter arrived from a collection agency. They were looking for Robert Matheson. Outstanding debt of $12,000. He'd listed her address. Naomi drove to his apartment in Allentown after school. Knocked on his door. No answer. A neighbor opened her door across the hall. You looking for Robert? He moved out. 2 weeks ago. Middle of the night. Naomi felt the world tilt. When she got home, she went through her files. The home equity loan. $35,000. First payment due at the end of the month. She looked at her bank account. $4,000 in savings. Her salary barely covered everything. She was alone with the debt. The calls started 2 weeks later. Collection agencies looking for Robert. They called her cell phone. They called her at school. They sent letters. Robert owed money everywhere. And somehow he tied some of it to her. Her own bills started to pile up. The home equity loan. The mortgage. The disputed credit card charge. Denied because Robert was an authorized user. He cut back on everything. But it wasn't enough. By November she was behind on her mortgage. By December she was behind on everything. In January, Naomi received a letter from the bank. They were beginning foreclosure proceedings. She read it standing by the window watching snow fall. Her mother's house. The house that was supposed to be hers. She had 90 days. Naomi kept teaching, went to school every day, stood in front of her students and explained equations. No one knew. But at night, alone in the house, she felt it. The weight, the anger, the betrayal. She thought about Robert constantly, where he was, if he ever thought about her. She thought about the years she'd spent trusting him, and she thought about what she would do if she ever saw him again. On a cold Tuesday in February, Naomi was leaving school when she saw a man by her car. Tall, graying hair, long coat. Naomi Matheson? I'm Dennis Halloran, private investigator. I'm looking for your brother. Naomi stared at him. Join the club. You don't know where he is? No. My client in Philadelphia says your brother owes them money. He owes everyone money. They stood in the cold parking lot, breath visible in the air. How much does he owe your client? 60,000. She almost laughed. Dennis handed her his card. If you hear from him, give me a call. She took the card, watched him walk away. When she got home, she sat in her car and looked at the house. 90 days. He thought about Robert, about his promises, about the way he'd cried in her kitchen. She thought about trust and what it cost. And for the first time, she thought about what she was willing to do to get it back. March came cold and gray. Naomi had 60 days before the bank took her house. She'd stopped answering calls, stopped checking mail. The collection agencies had her work email now. At night, she sat with Dennis Halloran's business card in front of her. On a Thursday evening, 7:30, when Robert used to call, she dialed his number. This is Naomi Matheson. I want to help you find him. Why? Because he destroyed my life. And I want him to face what he did. Meet me tomorrow. Diner on 3rd Street. 2 o'clock. Dennis was already there when she arrived. She slid into the booth across from him. Tell me about your brother, he said. She told him everything. The loan. The foreclosure. The lies. Dennis pulled out a folder. Papers. Photos. I've been tracking him for 3 months. He's good at disappearing, but he slips up. Last trace was Scranton. 2 weeks ago. So what do? We wait. When he slips up again, I'll find him. And then... Dennis looked at her carefully. My client wants his money back. Your brother stole from dangerous people. Not just my client. Others. People who don't use lawyers. You understand? He understood. If I find him and bring him in, he's not walking away from this. You need to know that. Naomi thought about her house. Her mother's house. I understand, she said. 2 weeks passed. Dennis called with updates. A credit card charge in Harrisburg. A motel receipt in Reading. He's broke. Burning through whatever he has left. He'll surface soon. 35 days until foreclosure. Then 30. Then 25. One night her phone rang. A number she didn't know. Naomi. Robert's voice. Her hand tightened around the phone. Where are you? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You destroyed me. You took everything. I know. God, I know. She could hear him crying. I'm losing the house in 30 days, she said. Mom's house. I'll pay you back. I swear. Stop lying to me. Silence. There are people looking for you, she said. Dangerous people. They're going to find you. I know. I'm sorry, he said. For everything. I love you. He hung up. Naomi called Dennis immediately. He just called me. She gave him the number. Dennis called back 3 hours later. Burner phone. But the cell tower was in Wilkes-Barre. He's there. I'm driving up tomorrow morning. I want to come with you. That's not a good idea. He's my brother. I need to see this through. Pause. All right. Meet me at the Wilkes-Barre bus station at noon. Naomi called in sick to school. Got on a bus at 10:30. Dennis was waiting. They drove to motels, showing Robert's photo to desk clerks. Most said no. One said maybe. One said yes, but he checked out yesterday. He's running, Dennis said. At the 7th motel, the Pine View, the clerk looked at the photo and nodded. Room 12. Checked in 3 days ago. Dennis looked at Naomi. Stay in the car. No. I'm coming. They walked to room 12. Dennis knocked. No answer. He kicked the door near the lock. It splintered open. The room was empty. But Robert had been there. Clothes on the bed. A sandwich on the nightstand. A notebook on the table. Naomi picked up the notebook. Inside were numbers, dates, names. At the bottom of one page, "I'm sorry, Naomi. We need to go," Dennis said. He could come back or... Footsteps outside. They both turned. Robert stood in the doorway. Thinner. Unshaven. Eyes red. He looked at Naomi. Then at Dennis. "I knew you'd find me," he said quietly. Nobody moved. Robert stood in the doorway of the motel room, hands in his pockets. He looked at Naomi like he was trying to memorize her face. "You brought him here," he said. "Not angry. Just tired." "You stole everything from me," Naomi said. "I know." Dennis stepped forward. "Robert Matheson, my client wants his money. $60,000. Robert laughed. A hollow sound. "I don't have $60,000. I don't have anything." "Then you're coming with me." "To where?" "So they can..." Robert stopped. Looked at Naomi again. "Is that what you want? You want them to hurt me?" Naomi's throat felt tight. "I want my life back." "I can't give you that." "No. You can't." Robert's eyes filled with tears. "I never meant to hurt you. I thought I could fix everything. I thought..." His voice broke. "You're all I have, Naomi. You're the only person who ever..." "Don't," she said. "Don't do that." Dennis moved closer. "We're leaving. Now." Robert looked at him. Then back at Naomi. Something changed in his face. A kind of resignation. "Okay," he said quietly. "Okay." They walked to Dennis's car. Robert sat in the back. Naomi in front. Nobody spoke. Dennis drove. The sun was setting, casting long shadows across the road. After 20 minutes, Robert said, "Can I ask you something, Naomi?" She didn't turn around. "What?" "Do you remember when Dad died? You were 16. I was 13. You held my hand at the funeral. You told me we'd be okay as long as we had each other." Naomi closed her eyes. "I believed you," Robert said. "I believed we'd always be okay. And then I ruined it. I ruined everything." "Yes," Naomi said. "You did. I'm sorry." "I know you are." They drove in silence for another 10 minutes. Then Robert spoke again. "Dennis, can you pull over?" "No. Please. I need to use the bathroom." Dennis glanced in the rearview mirror. "You can wait." "I really can't. Please. There's a gas station up ahead." Dennis hesitated. Then he pulled into a gas station, bright fluorescent lights cutting through the dusk. "Make it quick," Dennis said. Robert got out. Walked toward the building. Naomi watched him go. Something felt wrong. He turned to Dennis. "He's going to run. He won't get far." But Naomi was already getting out of the car. She walked quickly toward the gas station. Around the side of the building. Robert was there standing by a dumpster. He wasn't running. He was just standing there staring at nothing. "Robert," she said. He turned. His face was wet with tears. "I can't do this, Naomi. I can't go with him. You know what they'll do to me. You should have thought about that before." I know. But I'm scared." "I was scared too. When the bank sent the foreclosure notice. When the collection agencies wouldn't stop calling. When I realized I was going to lose everything because of you. I'm sorry." "Stop saying that." Robert wiped his face. "What do you want me to say?" "I don't know. I don't know what I want anymore." They stood there in the cold. Two people who used to be family. "I loved you," Naomi said. "I would have done anything for you. And you knew that. You used that." "I know." "That's all you can say?" "I know." Robert looked at her. "What else is there? I destroyed your life. I destroyed mine. I can't fix it. I can't make it better. All I can do is say I'm sorry and know it's not enough." Naomi felt something crack inside her chest. Bigger. Grief. Something worse than both. "Go," she said. "What?" "Run. Get out of here. I'll tell Dennis you ran when I wasn't looking." Robert stared at her. "Naomi. Go. Before I change my mind." "Why?" "Because you're my brother. Because I'm tired. Because I don't know anymore." Her voice broke. "Just go." Robert hesitated. Then he moved forward and hugged her. She stood rigid in his arms. "Thank you," he whispered. Then he was gone. Running across the parking lot into the darkness. Naomi stood alone by the dumpster for a long time. When she walked back to the car, Dennis was waiting. "Where is he?" "He ran. Out the back. I couldn't stop him." Dennis stared at her. "You let him go?" "No. He ran. I tried to stop him." Dennis got out of the car, looked toward the back of the building, then back at Naomi. "You know what this means," he said. "My client won't stop looking. Neither will the others. Your brother's a dead man." "I know. And you lose your house. Everything." "I know." Dennis shook his head slowly. "Why?" Naomi didn't answer. She didn't have an answer. Naomi went home. The foreclosure notice was still on her kitchen table. 30 days had become 15. Then 10. He went to school. Taught her classes. Came home to the empty house. Robert didn't call again. Dennis called once to tell her they'd found Robert 3 weeks later in Ohio. He'd been staying in a shelter. When they came for him, he tried to run. He didn't make it far. "Is he alive?" Naomi asked. "For now," Dennis said. "But he owes a lot of people a lot of money. I don't know how this ends for him." Naomi hung up. On a Wednesday in April, the bank took the house. Naomi packed her things. Not much. Clothes, books, a photo of her mother. She moved into a small apartment across town. 1 bedroom. Cheap rent. She still taught at the school. Still bought coffee on Sunday mornings. Still went through her routines. But something had changed. Something inside her that she couldn't name. She'd saved her brother and lost everything. And she didn't know if it had been worth it. Some nights, lying awake in her new apartment, she thought about Robert. About where he was. If he was still alive. If he ever thought about her. And some nights she wished she'd let Dennis take him. But most nights she just felt empty. 6 months later, a letter arrived. No return address. Postmarked from somewhere in Nevada. Inside was a single piece of paper. Robert's handwriting. "I'm alive. I'm sorry. I'll never stop being sorry. Thank you for giving me a chance. I know it cost you everything. I don't deserve a sister like you. I never did. I love you. R." Naomi read the letter once, then burned it in her kitchen sink. She never heard from Robert again. A year passed. Naomi lived in her small apartment on the east side of town. She taught her classes. She paid her rent on time. She was surviving, but barely. The debt collectors had stopped calling. There was nothing left to take. She didn't talk about Robert. When people asked about family, she said she didn't have any. It was easier than explaining. But she thought about him. Every Thursday at 7:30, she'd look at her phone and remember when he used to call. Every time she saw someone who looked like him on the street, her heart would stop. And every night she wondered if he was still alive. In November, Dennis Howard called. "Miss Matheson. It's been a while." "Yes. I wanted to let you know. My client in Philadelphia. He's dead." Naomi sat down slowly. "What happened?" "Heart attack. 3 weeks ago. Natural causes, if you can believe it. He was 72. "I see. The case is closed. No one else is looking for your brother. At least not from that end. Thank you for telling me." "There's something else," Dennis said. "Before he died, my client said something. He said to tell you he understood. What you did. Letting your brother go. He said he had a sister once. That he understood." Naomi didn't know what to say. "Anyway," Dennis said, "I thought you should know. Take care of yourself, Miss Matheson." He hung up. Here came. Naomi developed a routine in her new life. She stopped at the same coffee shop every morning. She graded papers at the same table in the library. She learned to live smaller, quieter. She dated a man named Peter for 2 months, a guidance counselor at her school. He was kind and asked her questions about her life that she didn't want to answer. She ended it gently. He said he understood, but she could see he didn't. On Christmas Eve, she worked a shift at a soup kitchen, serving meals to people with nowhere else to go. She saw herself in their faces. The exhaustion. The resignation. When she got home that night, she sat in her apartment and cried for the first time in months. In February, almost 2 years after Robert had disappeared, Naomi received a package. No return address. Postmarked from Colorado. Inside was a cashier's check. $5,000. And a note in Robert's handwriting. "This is all I have right now. It's not enough. It will never be enough. But it's a start. I'm working. I'm trying. I'll send more when I can. I know you probably hate me. I wouldn't blame you. But I'm trying to make it right. R. Naomi stared at the check for a long time. $5,000. Against $35,000 she'd lost. Against the house. Against everything. It was insulting. It was pathetic. It was something. She deposited the check the next day. More packages came. Every few months. Never from the same place. California. Texas. Always a cashier's check. Always a note. $2,000. $3,000. $1,500. The notes were short. Still working. Still trying. R. Naomi never wrote back. She didn't know what she would say. But she kept the money. Put it in a savings account. Watched it grow slowly. After 3 years she had $18,000. Still not enough. But more than nothing. One day in April, Naomi's principal called her into his office. I wanted to talk to you about something, he said. We're looking for someone to head the math department next year. I think you'd be perfect for it. Me. You're one of our best teachers. The students love you. Comes with a salary increase. Not huge but significant. Naomi stared at him. I don't know what to say. Say yes. He thought about it. About the extra money. About what it might mean. Yes, she said. Naomi took the position. With the salary increase, she was able to move to a better apartment. Nothing fancy, but bigger. With a window that got morning light. She bought new clothes. Started going out with colleagues after work sometimes. Slowly, carefully, she started building a life again. She still thought about Robert. About what he'd taken from her. About what she'd lost. But the anger had dulled. Turned into something else. Not forgiveness. But acceptance maybe. She'd never get back what she'd lost. The house. The security. The trust. But she was still here. 5 years after Robert disappeared, Naomi received a letter. Not a package this time. Just a letter. Postmarked from Oregon. She opened it slowly. Naomi. I don't know if you'll read this. I don't know if you've read any of my letters. But I need to tell you something. I'm sick. The doctors say I have maybe 6 months. I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm not asking for anything. I just wanted you to know. And I wanted to say thank you. For letting me go that night. For giving me 5 more years. They weren't great years. But they were mine. I worked. I lived. I tried to be better. I don't know if I succeeded. But I tried. I'm sorry for everything. I know that doesn't mean anything. But I am. You deserved a better brother. You deserved everything. I love you. Always did. Always will. Robert. Naomi read the letter 3 times. Then she folded it carefully and put it in a drawer. She didn't write back. 6 months later, Naomi was grading papers when her phone rang. Unknown number. Hello. Is this Naomi Matheson? A woman's voice. Older. Yes. My name is Carol Bennett. I'm a hospice nurse in Portland. I'm calling about your brother, Robert Matheson. Naomi's hand tightened on the phone. He passed away this morning. Peacefully. He asked me to call you. He wanted you to know. Naomi didn't say anything. He also asked me to tell you something. He said to tell you he's sorry. And that he loves you. And that you were the best thing in his life. Thank you, Naomi said quietly. There's one more thing. He left instructions. He wanted to be cremated. And he wanted his ashes sent to you. If that's all right. Yes, Naomi said. That's all right. The ashes arrived 2 weeks later. A small wooden box. Simple. Plain. Naomi opened it. Inside was a plastic bag with Robert's ashes. And one more note. I couldn't give you back the house. But I'm giving you what's left. Do with it what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. R. Naomi sat with the box in her lap. She thought about everything. The betrayal. The loss. The years of struggle. She thought about the night at the gas station. About letting him run. She thought about forgiveness and whether it mattered anymore. On a Sunday morning, Naomi drove to the cemetery where her mother was buried. She walked to the grave. Stood there for a long time. Then she opened the box and scattered Robert's ashes next to their mother's headstone. Here, she said quietly. You're home now. The wind caught some of the ashes and carried them away. Naomi watched them disappear. Then she walked back to her car and drove home. She never talked about Robert after that. She kept teaching, kept living, kept moving forward. The savings account from his payments stayed there. She never touched it. Couldn't bring herself to spend it. Some wounds don't heal. They just become part of you. Years later, someone asked Naomi if she had any siblings. She paused, then said, "I had a brother once. What happened to him?" "He got lost," she said. "And I couldn't save him."